Today is World Human Rights Day, and for most of us, it's nothing special. Just another day before the weekend. But not for the Uighurs in China, or the children in Yemen, or the women in Afghanistan, or the Rohingya still in Myanmar. For them, today is not just another day, it's a reminder of what they do not have. We start with what happened in Mexico today, a horrible accident. This truck flipped over while turning a sharp corner. Inside were more than 100 Central American migrants. They were jammed inside this truck. They were heading to the US border. Today was supposed to be their moment of freedom. Instead, it ended in tragedy. 54 of these migrants were killed. Their bodies were piled outside the truck. I know these pictures are horrifying, but that's the point. To take you out of your comfort zone, to show you the real picture. Why do you think these migrants were fleeing? Because they have no human rights back home, no jobs, no freedom to speak, no guaranteed food. It's basically a living hell. And this is why we have a World Human Rights Day, to highlight the plights of fellow humans, to pull up our world leaders. But first, let's define human rights. What do they mean? I'll give you the United Nations version. This is what they say. Human rights are rights inherent to all human beings, regardless of race, sex, nationality, ethnicity, religion, language, or any other status. Nobody gives you these rights. You're born with them. Every human being on this earth is endowed with human rights. They include right to life and liberty, freedom from slavery and torture, freedom of opinion, and the right to work and education. For most of us, this may all seem normal, but in many parts of the world, it's a luxury, really, like Yemen. The United Nations calls Yemen the worst humanitarian crisis in the world. Around 21 million people need financial assistance there. At least 10,000 children have been killed or maimed in war. 2 million children are internally displaced. Yemen is one step away from complete starvation. What is the world doing about it? Throwing money at the problem. Yemen's war is being driven by Saudi Arabia and Iran, two of the worst human rights abusers in the world. It's almost like a vicious cycle. When abusers interfere in other countries, they bring their toxic mindset with them. The Uighurs in China are another example. 1 million of them have been put in internment camps. There is forced labor, state-sponsored rape, human experiments, forced sterilization, and political indoctrination. All of this is well documented, but the world still engages with China. It trades with China. It participates in China's Olympics. Why? Because China has money and power. The Rohingya in Myanmar are a different case. Myanmar is not rich or powerful, but their army still got away with genocide. The Rohingya have been described as the most persecuted minority in the world. In 2017, 740,000 of them fled to Bangladesh. They couldn't take it anymore. The Myanmar army is accused of ethnic cleansing, mass rapes, genocide, but today they rule the country. And the world seems to be okay with it. The list is much longer. The women of Afghanistan are fighting for equal rights. The LGBT community is battling for legal recognition. Women in America could soon lose their right to abortion. These are all human rights violations. And what's worse, it's all documented. We all know what's going on. So why has the world failed to retaliate? Because of politics. The United Nations has a Human Rights Council. Guess who's on it? China, Pakistan, Cuba, Libya, Eritrea. These countries are supposed to champion human rights. It tells you how serious our leaders are. The biggest problem with human rights is also its biggest advantage. Nobody gives us these rights, which means nobody upholds them. They're left, we are left, hoping for a good government or a benevolent judiciary. It's like rolling a dice. If you're lucky, you're born in a modern democracy. If not, you're born in North Korea or Syria. It defeats the whole point of universal rights. But that's the reality of our world today. Money, power, and politics trump basic human rights. WION is now available in your country. Download the app now and get all the news on the move.